I'm going to really attempt to offend some people's delicate sensibilities in this section, because I'm going to do something that the human ego abhors. And that's make blanket statements, but blanket statements that are nonetheless 100% true. I'm going to make 3 true blanket statements regarding order followers. All order followers. 100%. 0 exceptions. Ever in the history of the world, these statements have been, are now, and will continue to be true forever. All order followers are bad people. All order followers are bad people. The exit's in the back for some people who are a little too offended by it, you know. And here's the totally logical proof of this given by the historian Dr. Robert Higgs. The good cop, bad cop question can be disposed of decisively. We need only consider the following. Every cop has agreed as part of their job to enforce the laws. All the laws, all of them. That is their job. That is what they have agreed to do. Many of the laws are manifestly unjust or even cruel and wicked. 3, therefore, every cop has agreed to act as an enforcer of laws that are manifestly unjust or even cruel and wicked. The inescapable conclusion based upon pure logic alone. Not even any heart-based intelligence, just pure logic by itself. The conclusion invariably is that there is no such thing as a good cop. There is no such thing as a good order follower, period, ever and never has been. Since no order follower is truly exercising conscience, and the order follower will carry out actions that they have been commanded to perform, even if those actions cause harm to other beings. No order follower in the history of the world can be said to be a truly moral human being. They are antitheses of each other. They are diametrically opposed, polar opposite conditions. Order following and moral free will choice. They can never go hand in hand. This brings us to the issue of moral culpability when it comes to order followers. The question always arises, who's more morally culpable? Where does the real responsibility or blame lie? In the order giver or with the order follower? Moral culpability is the determination of who is ultimately at fault or deserving of blame for the commission of actions which result in harm or loss to other beings. Culpable as a word comes from Latin, culpa, meaning blame, and the word culpable in English means at fault or deserving of blame. There is such a thing as blame. There is such a thing as who is at fault, who brought that resultant harm into manifestation in reality. So who is more morally culpable? And please read the question specifically. Who is more morally culpable? I'm not making the statement that neither party is morally culpable. I'm saying both are morally culpable, but who is more at fault or deserving of blame when harm results as a result of one group giving an order and another group carrying out those orders? The order giver or the order follower? There's a correct answer to that question. It is not a matter of opinion. The way you determine the answer, the correct answer to that question, is you ask this question. If each group of people is saying, my actions didn't actually bring extraordinary harm into manifested reality, who's lying and who's telling the truth when it comes down to brass tacks? So here's what bombs raining down on children do in the Middle East, in countries we have no business in. Okay? You know, the problem is, you know, the reason so many people still support actions like this and still support the order followers who do them is the bombs aren't raining down on their children. Okay? So who's lying and who's telling the truth? Well, the painful answer is those politicians aren't lying. Their actions didn't cause that. You could say their words had a part in it and therefore they're still morally culpable, but they didn't actually pull those triggers. They didn't drop those bombs. The order followers did those immoral behaviors. The painful truth, the order follower always bears more moral culpability than the order giver, because the order follower is the one who actually performed the action, and in taking such action, actually brought the resultant harm into physical manifestation. Order following is the pathway to every form of evil and chaos in our world. It should never be seen as a virtue by anyone who considers themselves a moral human being. Order followers have ultimately been personally responsible and morally culpable for every form of slavery and every single totalitarian regime that has ever existed upon the face of this planet. This is the result of following orders, invariably, to its inevitable conclusion: genocide, mass death, mass graves. People committing themselves to evil that they even know is evil, and they give themselves over to it because, hey, I was just doing what I was told. I was just doing my job. Just following orders. I was just following orders, or I was just doing my job, is never a valid excuse or justification for immoral criminal behavior. And this lame attempt to abdicate one's own personal responsibility should never be accepted as a valid excuse for such criminal behavior. Unfortunately, too many people let people like this off the hook, off the line, because they accept this justification that, oh, you were just following your orders, you were just doing your job. Well, oh, okay. Well, that excuses you somehow. No, it doesn't. It doesn't excuse you of your personal responsibility to choose right action over wrong action, and never should be accepted as such. The word justification comes from the Latin noun jus, which means law or right in Latin, and the Latin verb facere, which means to make or to create. Thus, the word justification, with those two root forms together, actually means to create a right, to attempt to create a right which did not actually exist in nature. You're inventing rights. You're saying a wrongdoing can somehow become a right. Something that you're allowed to do under the laws of morality. So, here's a little internet meme. This is a picture of a criminal who didn't obey the law here on the left side, and some other guys who are just following orders. Order followers are ultimately the servants of evil in the world. Evil cannot accomplish its goals or its objectives without people willing to carry out the evil, because they were told to carry it out. A great quote by Gandhi, he said, "You assist an evil system most effectively by obeying its orders and decrees," talking about the order followers in the world. An evil system never deserves such allegiance. Allegiance to it means partaking of the evil. A good person will resist an evil system with his or her whole soul. Beautiful quote. I wholeheartedly concur.